Hi, in this video, I would like to talk to you about the 5 self-destructive behaviors that you might have been finding yourself in during this recent time. Welcome to SU Coaching. My name is Suki and I am a certified coach based in New Zealand, helping people to find their purpose, gain their self-confidence, and I used to be an agile coach in technological companies, helping leaders and the teams to perform better. So, what kind of self-destructive behaviors have you been finding yourself in? I definitely have identified a few for myself during this time because it is a difficult time with a lot of uncertainties. So, our emotions can be running really high, and when our emotions are running high, they drive us to behaviors that we do not normally exhibit. And I treat this as a perfect time to air out those dirty laundries and to be able to deal with the emotions in a different way, in a more healthy way. Because there is actually no good or bad in terms of emotions or in terms of how we're dealing with things. It's more about whether the way that we're dealing with the situation is useful for us to become who we want to be. So self-destructive behavior number 1. Have you been emotionally eating? I definitely have. When I feel like I'm bored, or when I feel that I'm lonely, or I feel, oh my gosh, things are outside of my control, it's so easy to turn to food to get that instant jolt of joy and feel no pain just for that second of that enjoyment of food. But we know this is not good for us. We know that this is only going to lead to more weight gain. So it is very important to catch ourselves when we want to emotionally eat and say to ourselves, yes, I acknowledge this feeling. Let me do something that's a bit more healthy for me. Self-destructive behavior number 2. Have you been wanting more attention lately than your usual? Have you been going on social media and checking how many likes that you have for certain posts? It is so normal because at the moment we are isolated. We're only allowed to interact with a certain amount of people and with a certain amount of physical distance. So it is really difficult for us to be at this stage. And it's so easy to turn to the online social media platforms to look for those likes, look for those recognition. And what I recommend here is that you actively reach out to your friends to have a meaningful conversation. It is more likely that you'll feel loved and recognized by the people that care about you more. Destructive behavior number 3. Have you been running around, everything's urgent, doing extra work just because you feel like, oh, there's so much need that I need to do this? Yes, when there is anxiety and uncertainty around, our amygdala is actually getting triggered and we go into this fight mode of, I need to get this done. There's no time like tomorrow. I really need to get it done. And this creates a sense of urgency. We feel like that this is getting our problem solved. But actually, when there are uncertainties around that are outside of control, it is way better that we're able to calm ourselves down, look at the situation reasonably, and ask ourselves what is within our control. And is this really necessary? So slowing that down is going to be really helpful to not get burnt out emotionally and physically during this time. Self-destructive behavior number 4. Have you been procrastinating? Lying on the couch, not doing much because you've been feeling overwhelmed. Yes, with the amount of uncertainties around, it is a lot to deal with. There's so much news that's out there, and we might have family members that we're very concerned about for their health. So at this time, it is easy to not want to face it because that is the flight reaction from our amygdala when we are getting triggered by a threat that's in our environment. So instead of fighting this time, we're flying away from it. We're escaping from it. We're denying from it. So it is really useful when you're able to identify that behavior in yourself, that you are not coping with the situation, and acknowledging that it is a difficult situation, as a difficult emotion that you're feeling, and deliberately choose a more active way of dealing with the situation to bring things inside your control, within your power. Self-destructive behavior number 5. Have you been victimizing yourself, seeing yourself as the victim of the situation? It is true that a lot of things are outside of our control at the moment, and the situation is difficult. But what is within our control is how we deal with the situation. And also not viewing ourselves as victim of a situation. Because when we view ourselves as a victim of the situation, we render ourselves powerless to do anything about it. And we think the world owes us a lot when we are in that situation, and that no one is there to care for us and to help us. And that is not true. So it's really important that you are able to give that strength to yourself, to acknowledge that you're hurt, and to bring yourself out of that hole of victimizing. So I really hope that this video helps you to identify the self-destructive behaviors that you might have been in. And like I said, there's no good or bad. It is more of a matter of whether this behavior is useful for you for who you really want to be as a person. And if you want to find out more about coaching and other methods of coping with the COVID-19, please subscribe to my channel and check out my website as well. And if you want a one-on-one conversation with me about how coaching can help with you, then do email me at hello@su.org. And I'll see you in the next video. Keep safe.